Have you ever witnessed it? That almost paradoxical moment when a truly brilliant technical expert,
Mhm.
maybe your go-to senior developer, you're the one who can debug anything.
Yeah, or that network engineer who just gets the really complex stuff.
Exactly. And then they get promoted to a leadership role.
Yeah.
Everyone expects them to just, well, knock it out of the park. They were the technical powerhouse after all.
Mhm.
But then, maybe just weeks in, you start noticing deadlines slipping.
Mm,
Or team morale takes a bit of a dip.
right. Or that engineer, the
Hmm.
one who is so good at solving problems, suddenly seems kind of disengaged in meetings, feeling trapped, like the source said, like no one understands what they truly need.
It's such a common story, isn't it? And it feels, like you said, counterintuitive.
It really is. And what you're talking about there and what our source material really digs into, it highlights this massive shift required. You're going from being an individual contributor.
Where it's all about your code, your solutions.
Precisely. Your success is defined by your personal achievements, writing that perfect made, solving that tough issue on your own, and then bam, you're a leader.
And suddenly, it's not about what you do anymore.
Not at all. It's about what your entire team accomplishes together. And that mindset, the one that made you a star performer, that deep focus on the technical nuts and bolts, it doesn't always translate smoothly to, managing and inspiring people.
That's a really powerful way to frame it, that seismic shift from me to we. But, I mean, for someone who spent years honing their individual craft, where the results are so tangible like code or a fixed system, that mental leap must be just huge.
Oh, absolutely.
What's maybe the single biggest hurdle you see tech experts hit first?
Well, often it's letting go. Letting go of the need to be the smartest technical person in the room, or maybe worse, feeling like they still have to do all the critical technical work themselves.
Because their identity is so wrapped up in being the best coder, right? The
Right.
fastest debugger.
Exactly. But as a leader, your success isn't measured by the lines of code you write. It's measured by the clarity of your team's vision, how well they collaborate, the impact they make collectively.
So you shift from being the main problem solver to being the architect of an environment where other people can solve problems effectively.
That's it precisely. Building that environment.
Okay, so we see the struggle, that disconnect, but our source material points towards, well, an antidote, a path forward. They call it transformational leadership.
Mhm.
What exactly is that? I mean, it sounds dynamic, visionary. How does it help with these specific challenges we're talking about?
Yeah, it's definitely more than just like managing tasks. Transformational leadership is really an approach. It's about inspiring teams to achieve things they might not even think are possible, going beyond just the short-term goals.
Okay.
Think of a leader who isn't just assigning tickets or checking burn down charts, but is actually painting a picture, an ideological vision, as the source puts it, of what success could look like, a future that actually gets people excited.
So connecting the big company goals with what each person actually cares about, their aspirations.
Exactly. You connect the organizational goals with personal aspirations. That sparks a real sense of purpose, and that's what fuels empowerment. It's about creating that why behind the work.
So it's not just about hitting the numbers or shipping the next feature. It's about making sure everyone, especially the technical folks, gets the why.
Right.
So when a developer is deep in the code or QA is testing, they see how it fits into the bigger picture. That must create a whole different level of buy-in, of engagement.
It really does. And this vision, it isn't just some fluffy statement. It's actually built on four core pillars. The first one, and maybe the most powerful, is inspirational motivation.
Inspirational motivation. Okay, when you say that, I immediately think, how do you make, say, refactoring a really old legacy system sound inspiring? Or maybe building some dry compliance features. Not exactly Steve Jobs selling the next iPhone, is it?
Huh? No, probably not. But that's the interesting challenge for technical managers, right? It's not always about a grand, world-changing dream. For a technical team, inspiration often comes from connecting that abstract vision to the tangible impact of their work.
Ah, okay. So showing them how that really well-optimized algorithm isn't just faster on a chart.
Exactly. But how it genuinely makes a user's experience better, or maybe unlocks a new market, or keeps a critical system stable for millions of people, it's igniting that spark by showing their direct contribution. That fosters a sense of belonging that really can transform the culture.
Making the work feel meaningful, not just technically complex.
Precisely. When they see their work as more than just code, but as building blocks for something important, that's when you get that deep intrinsic motivation.
I can absolutely see how that connection would fire up technical minds. Okay, so the second pillar the source talks about is individualized consideration. This feels like it gets right to the human side of things, which sometimes gets lost in tech, maybe.
Oh, definitely. You sometimes hear leaders say, I just need them to get the work done. But you really can't lead effectively long term without understanding what actually drives your people.
So this means really seeing each team member as unique, with their own skills, goals, challenges.
Yes, a transformational leader actually takes the time to listen, to offer support, to give tailored guidance. Think of it like a great engineering mentor.
Right, someone who doesn't just check your code, but asks about your career goals, helps you navigate challenges, celebrates when you finally nail that tricky new framework.
Exactly that. That empathetic approach, it builds strong relationships, it builds trust, people feel seen, appreciated, and honestly, that's absolutely critical for keeping your best technical talent around.
That kind of connection must have a ripple effect, especially, like you said, in a field where burnout can be a real issue. If leaders show that consideration, it sets the tone for the whole team, encouraging support and collaboration.
It really does. It fosters that mutual respect and loyalty.
Okay, and the third key element is intellectual stimulation. This sounds like it's about more than just getting the current tasks done.
It absolutely is. It's about sparking curiosity, helping engineers look beyond the immediate bug fix and ask those bigger questions. Is there a fundamentally better way to build this? Or what if we tried a totally different approach here?
So fostering that what-if mentality, even when the pressure's on. For a tech team, does this mean encouraging maybe calculated risks, trying new tech, maybe even seeing failure as a learning step, which might make traditional project managers a bit nervous?
Absolutely. It's about encouraging critical thinking, creativity, creating an environment where exploring new ideas for, say, system design or even trying a new algorithm isn't punished if it doesn't pan out perfectly the first time.
So celebrating intelligent risk-taking.
Yes, that leads to breakthroughs. It moves the team beyond just doing the job to actually pushing the technical boundaries. And that is incredibly motivating for smart engineers.
Okay, so those pillars, inspirational motivation,
Mm.
individualized consideration, intellectual stimulation, paint a really clear picture of the what. But the big question for listeners is often the how. How do you actually do this?
Right, the practical skill.
Our source material lays out 6 essential skills, and they really focus on that shift from being the expert doer to the guide.
Exactly. And the first one is communication, translating tech into business value. This is a big one. As an engineer, you were brilliant at the how to build it, how to fix it, how to optimize it.
Right.
As a leader, your focus has to shift really profoundly to the why. Why does this technical approach align with the company's bigger goals? Why invest in this tech debt cleanup versus that shiny new feature? It's bridging that gap.
And that is so challenging for many technical people, isn't it? You have to translate deep technical concepts into clear outcomes that resonate outside the engineering team, especially with non-technical folks. The key isn't just dropping the jargon, right? It's framing the conversation around the business benefit. How does this technical work actually help the company succeed? Like explaining why fixing technical debt isn't just housekeeping, but actually prevents costly outages down the line or lets you innovate faster.
That's a perfect example, a crucial distinction. Okay, skill number 2, collaboration, building a cohesive team culture. Your job now is all about fostering teamwork, which can be a big change from the more solitary problem-solving many tech experts excel at.
So this means really encouraging open dialogue, creating that safe space, psychological safety where everyone feels okay speaking up, even if they disagree or have a different technical idea.
Yes, absolutely vital. It's making it clear that diverse viewpoints are actually valuable, that they're celebrated. And importantly, it's about stepping in to diplomatically resolve those technical disagreements that inevitably crop up, guiding the team towards a consensus on architecture or priorities.
And fostering innovation too, right? Letting teams try things, experiment, maybe take calculated risks with new technologies, and learn even when things don't work out perfectly. That safe, collaborative space is where real transformation happens.
Couldn't agree more. Now, the third skill is closely related to individualized consideration. It's simply empathy. We touched on it, but it deserves its own focus. You know, that leader who just says, get the work done. They miss so much. I've
Yeah.
seen amazing engineers just burn out because their leader never really asked what was going on beneath the surface or why a specific task was so frustrating for them.
This is where those regular one-on-ones are just gold, aren't they? But they have to be more than just status updates.
Oh, absolutely.
They're chances to talk about growth, about roadblocks, aspirations, asking things like, what part of your work is really exciting you right now? even if it's a tough problem? Or what technical hurdles are you hitting, and how can I help clear the way, not by giving you the answer, but by removing obstacles?
Or even, what skills or maybe new tech are you interested in learning? That kind of empathy builds real engagement. It makes people feel valued, driving them towards both their own technical growth and the team's goals.
Okay, fourth essential skill, strategic thinking. Beyond the code, as a leader, you have to lift your head up, right? See the bigger picture, the wider organization, the future.
Your perspective has to evolve from just executing the task to seeing how it fits into the whole organizational landscape.
And for a technical leader, strategic thinking isn't just about business strategy in general. It's also about technical foresight, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Like understanding how choosing a specific framework today might impact you 5 years down the road. Or seeing how investing in, say, a new AI capability now could give the company a huge edge later, something non-technical leaders might not even see yet.
Exactly. You need to be asking, how does this project really contribute to the core business, not just the tech roadmap? Are we making smart trade-offs between paying down technical debt and pushing innovation forward?
So it's about translating that deep technical insight into strategic business thinking, making sure your team's work is tightly aligned with the company's direction and long-term vision.
Perfectly put. Okay, number 5, time management. Mastering the leadership balancing act. This one hits home for many new leaders. Suddenly your calendar explodes, stakeholder meetings, one-on-ones, strategy sessions, maybe still some technical reviews. It can feel overwhelming fast.
So what's the key here? Because you can't just work longer hours.
No, that's not sustainable. A really vital tip, and one many technical leaders grapple with, is delegation. You have to focus your time on the things that only you as a leader can do, setting vision, coaching, removing obstacles, representing the team, and then you need to strategically delegate the technical execution.
Trusting the team to handle the code, the implementation details, that can be hard if you used to be the go-to expert yourself.
It can be very hard. But effective leadership relies on delegation and trust. Not micromanagement, especially not micromanaging the code. When you trust your team, it not only frees you up, but it builds their confidence, empowers them, and gives them real ownership.
That makes sense. Empowering them helps everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, the sixth skill, championing change and driving innovation. Change is just constant in tech, isn't it? New languages, cloud platforms, shifting methodologies like Agile.
It never stops.
So transformational leaders need to be guides through that constant flux.
Absolutely. They play a critical role, inspiring resilience, inspiring creativity when things shift. This means really explaining the why behind the change, helping the team see how, for instance, moving to microservices aligns with future scalability, not just current tech trends.
And addressing their concerns, right?
Yeah.
Acknowledging the technical challenges or doubts, creating space for discussion around those big shifts.
Yes, providing clarity, fostering that safe space for questions, and crucially, empowering innovation within that change. Encouraging your team to bring forward original ideas, creative solutions, even if they challenge how things were done before. That really reinforces their engagement and confidence.
So leadership here isn't just about reacting to change. It's about being a catalyst for positive transformation, leveraging technical expertise for strategic advantage.
Precisely. And as we look ahead, leadership styles are just going to keep evolving. Adaptability, empathy, they'll become even more critical, especially with diverse, maybe globally distributed technical teams.
Leaders who can build that culture of open communication, deep trust, and continuous learning will be the ones whose teams really thrive.
Yeah, the ability to inspire and motivate, that's going to be paramount as organizations face new tech challenges and opportunities.
In this kind of dynamic world, these transformational leaders won't just drive technical results and ship great products. They'll also create that real sense of belonging and purpose for their teams. That human connection seems more important than ever.
I couldn't agree more.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? Maybe you're thinking about making this transition, or perhaps you're already in the thick of it. We've really unpacked that profound shift, haven't we? Moving from being the star individual technical contributor to inspiring collective success.
Yeah, and transformational leadership, it isn't just some label or a rigid style. It's a dynamic approach. It's built on communicating that compelling vision, really genuinely valuing each person on your team, and sparking that intellectual curiosity we talked about.
And those 6 skills we dove into, from translating complex tech stuff into clear business value, all the way to championing change and innovation within your team,
Yeah.
they offer a really powerful toolkit for this journey.
Right. This deep dive, it isn't just abstract theory. It's meant to be practical, applicable to your world as a technical leader. It's about empowering you to lead with more impact, unlock the amazing potential that's already in your team.
And navigate all the complexities of work today with, hopefully, more confidence and vision.
Exactly. It's about starting that ripple effect, creating extraordinary outcomes that go beyond just the project deliverables.
It really is. Stephen Covey had that great quote, "Strength lies in differences, not in similarities." So as you think about everything we've discussed today on transformational leadership, maybe consider this. What's one single step you could take this week to better harness the unique technical strengths, the differences within your team? And how might that one step begin to transform not just your next project, but maybe even your wider organizational culture?